What's up, closers and entrepreneurs? Tryson Jones coming at you again. I have officially decided what I'm going to call my Friday video productions, and the official name is Top 5 Fridays. So every Friday I'm going to be doing a short video with 5 tips, 5 tricks, 5 pieces of advice that are going to help you in your business and in your sales. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Before we get into that, I am going to be launching an offer here come in October to help people make money in e-commerce. If that's something that any of you are interested in, let me know. I'm going to be looking for 100 clients that we can get in as kind of a case study basis, proof of concept, make sure that things are going to work, get some feedback, fine-tune things before we launch it out to the general public. So if you're interested in that, let me know, and I'll be revealing more about that as we go through the month and obviously as we launch this thing. So without further ado, let's go through my top 5 for today. And these are just things that I think that it takes, or things that I think you need to possess to be an effective salesperson. So number one is, the number one quality to have as a salesperson is the quality of resilience. You're going to get told no over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. I live in Utah. Some of our best recruits are Mormon missionaries because they spend 2 years of their life as young adults knocking on doors, trying to convert people's religion, and they get told no a lot. They get told no after they spend a bunch of time with people a lot. So they come back resilient. They're able to get into the system, follow that system, and they don't let the no's bring them down. If you don't have that resilience, if you take the no's personally, that is going to affect your emotions. You're going to be up and down, your sales are going to be up and down, and it's not going to be a fun game for you. So I by nature have been a resilient person most of my life, or all of my life, as far as I can remember anyways. So if you struggle with that, I don't know of too many resources I can point you in the direction of besides the book The 4 Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. And one of the 4 agreements is don't take things personally. So read that book. It's a short, quick read. I think I got through it in about an hour and a half, and something that sticks with me to this day. So the number one skill to have as a salesperson is the skill or ability to listen. Your job as a salesperson is to solve a problem for your prospect. If you don't listen to your prospect, how are you going to diagnose the problem? Therefore, how are you going to provide a solution to it? So I go by that 80-20 rule. The customer should be talking 80% of the time. You should be talking 20. They should be listening 20% of the time, or excuse me, you should be listening 80% of the time, and they should be listening 20. So this is what is going to help you to quit convincing, persuading, or selling people into whatever product or service you have to offer, and get you into the reverse position where you are able to ask the right questions so that the customer will lead themselves down the sales funnel, and at the end, when you ask them to sign, there's no reservations because they have talked themselves through it rather than you talking at them and asking for the close. So the ability to listen is huge. The number one asset that we have as salespeople is our time. When I have a new recruit, the first 2 things I will always tell them is the most important things you can do in this business is stick to the system and make your time effective, or don't spend your time with the wrong people. So making your time effective is not only, not gossiping all day long or chit-chatting all day long, but doing the work when you're at work, when you're supposed to be doing it, but also making sure you're spending your time with the right people. Now, if you're in your own business where you're able to generate your own leads and attract, the right people, then get defined on who that customer is, get defined in what your message is so that you can repel the wrong people and attract the right people. If you're in a situation where you don't have the control over your lead source, maybe it's outsourced, maybe you get inbound calls, whatever it may be, then your ability to manage your time is going to come down to being able to ask the right qualifying questions right up front that are not going to throw the person's guard up to where they won't listen to you, number one, but also that are going to tell you whether or not it's going to be worth your time and their time to continue talking about whatever product or service you offer. A lot of people, when they're new, they think it's disrespectful to get somebody off the phone quickly. They're interested in the product. I want to be able to help them out as much as possible. Absolutely, care about your customer. Take a little bit extra time to make sure that they understand things and are pointed in the right direction, but don't spend an hour just talking to them, trying to make them feel good, because ultimately you're wasting their time, and their time's valuable as well. So that's how I look at it. That's why I don't have a problem, asking a person how their credit is, where they stand financially, and if they're not in a position to take advantage of what I have, then it's about a 3 to 5 minute phone call, and I don't have any issues with it. They don't have any heartburn over it because I've respected their time and I've made my time effective as well. So the number one ability to have as a salesperson is the ability to adapt. I couldn't decide whether I was going to just leave it as adapt or put the ation on there, so I added it, and you can use whatever term you want. But adaptation is key in business, it's key in sales, it's key in marketing, and we live in a world that is changing very rapidly. So as business people, we have to be able to adapt very rapidly, or else you're going to get left by the wayside because other people are adapting and other people are entering the marketplace knowing the adaptations that have been made and have to be made. So the marketplace is changing tremendously right now in every industry. I believe it was Ryan Stewman. I was watching a video, and he said that Elon Musk said 2019 most people should be concerned about their jobs. That's a pretty scary thing. And so to be able to adapt to the marketplace, to be able to adapt to the consumer and the mindset of the consumer given the economy and the marketplace, to be able to adapt to different sources of prospects or customers, being able to adapt to getting or obtaining new customers in different ways. All of these things are going to be key for you to have a sustainable career in sales or a sustainable business. So that's the number one ability I'd say to have as a salesperson. The number one characteristic that you can possess as a salesperson is to be trustworthy. Now, how do you convey to your client that you're trustworthy? Obviously, do what you say what you do. Any sort of due diligence that they can do on yourself or your company or what you do is great. Case studies, testimonials, all those things always help. But really, the tonality or some of these very common things that are decided in the lizard or the crocodile brain are established within the first 15 to 20 seconds of the conversation. And I believe that trust is one of those things. So whatever you can do to establish some authority or some trust or some posture or status in the beginning of your sales cycle is going to let the person know that they can trust you because you know what you're doing. Other than that, as you go through your sales cycle, show up to your appointments on time, send out any information that you tell them you will. Again, do what you say what you do. The customer will reciprocate that to you, and you'll have a good experience through that sales cycle. Now, all these things are reciprocal. So, if you're resilient in your approach with your customers, if you don't get thrown off by the no's or the objections, then your customer is going to be resilient in figuring out whether or not it's the right solution for their problem. If you listen to the prospect, you're going to be able to diagnose what the problem is, and you're going to be able to provide a solution, and the customer will listen to you when you go to provide or tell them or explain what that solution is. As far as your time goes, if you respect the customer's time, they will respect yours. Pretty simple. To be able to adapt. As far as obtaining new clients, maybe this one doesn't apply as far as reciprocity, but they, depending on what you're doing, they're making some sort of change in their business, they're getting some sort of new service, they're looking to adapt in some way, shape, or form. So you need to be able to express to them that you've been able to adapt to the marketplace, and what you have as a solution is something that's going to help them adapt to the marketplace as well. As far as being trustworthy, if you do what you say and say what you do, show up to your appointments on time, etc., the customer should reciprocate that. If they don't, they're not worth your time anyway. So, in conclusion, the golden rule applies to prospects too. I didn't realize that kind of rhymed when I wrote it down, but it's kind of catchy. The golden rule applies to prospects too. So it's not just friends and family. It's not just strangers or acquaintances or your boss. Treat everybody that you encounter or talk to the way that you'd like to be treated, and as long as they are not too selfish to appreciate that you're treating them the way that you would like to be treated, they will reciprocate that. If they are too selfish to reciprocate that, then that's probably somebody you need to cut out of your life so you can bring somebody in who is on the same wavelength as you. Now, I hope that was of some value or some help to you. If you struggle with any of these things, keep them in mind. Make sure that you are being effective and that you have these or possess these qualities, characteristics, assets, abilities, and skills. So I will see you next Friday. If I don't see you before then, obviously I'll have more content out. Follow me on sellerbesoldblog.wordpress.com, facebook.com/hustlersnonanonymous, non-anonymous, kind of mumbled that, and Instagram and Twitter at No Limit Business. So again, if you're interested in making money online with e-commerce, let me know. Looking for 100 people that we can test this thing out with. Other than that, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you guys soon.